I never thought growing up that I would see entertainment go in the direction it has. Entertainment has become so woke, so ideological, that it's hard to watch anything. As an example, yesterday before the Super Bowl, there was a game of the Celtics versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, I used to be a big Celtics fan, still kind of am, and so I decided, what the heck, I'll watch a Celtics game. I gave up because of the wokeness in the NBA, much like I gave up on most sports. And, well, it's Black History Month, and I figure, okay, they've got some Black History Month shirts and banners and little things here and there. It's par for the course, I guess. I shouldn't expect any different. But then they went to a commercial break, and they came back, and they had an entire, I want to say, 15 to 20-second bumper with the announcer talking about why they think Black History Month is important. And I instantly clicked off. I let him get partway through the monologue, but when I heard the words groundbreaking, more equitable, I clicked off. Folks, people don't seem to understand that when you push this stuff, you're not pushing unity. You're pushing division. You're pushing segregationalism. You're making black people, or other races, depending on who's being elevated at the time, you're giving them a superiority complex. You're making them think and feel that they are better than other people because their ancestors may have suffered unfairly. And that's not even a guarantee for a lot of black people. Many of them may have had ancestors who came to the country post-slavery, maybe even post-Jim Crow. So it's not even fully accurate. It's divisive. It's highly divisive. And by the way, I just wanted to watch a basketball game. So do most people. They don't want to be preached to about how blackness is going to save the country and save the world. This is basically what they were saying. My skin color is just that. It's pigment. Same with your skin color, whatever it happens to be. And we can't get over this notion that skin color somehow makes us the messiahs of the world. No, the only messiah of the world I believe in is Jesus Christ. Plain and simple. Full transparency as a Christian, there is no other savior of this world than Jesus. Every other attempt to save the world will fail. That being said, this wokeness has just sucked everything up into its own vacuum when it comes to entertainment. Movies, music, TV, comic books, podcasts, everything. Corporate media is 100% behind wokeness. 100%. And it's getting to the point where I've abandoned 95% of corporate media. The only corporate media I engage in is when they re-release old stuff and they leave it alone. If they try to edit it or change it in any way, then I click off. I've been using a lot of Pluto TV and Tubi TV to watch old things like Carol Burnett's show and old sitcoms like Cheers and Frasier and stuff that by and large was politically incorrect. Some of it was starting to get a little bit more politically correct as the 80s and 90s went on. But then you got stuff even further back than that. Old shows, old movies. There's more than enough entertainment to keep me satisfied for the rest of my life that isn't new and it isn't woke. But this is getting out of hand, guys. You see the decisions that these studios are making in 2023 and you're like, how do they think they're going to last another 100 years? They're not. The studio system is all but dead. Independent producers, independent content creators are on the rise. The studios are just greenlighting garbage that they've been convinced is gold. and they double and triple down on it, and it's just like I made my video on Warner Brothers and I said there's hope for them. I take that back. I don't believe there's much hope with them based on the decisions they've made recently. They're out of control, and they're in the red. That's why they had to merge with Discovery. They're absolutely in the red. They're not going to make it even, I don't even think they're going to make it 50 years. There's no faith in them. I'm completely done with all of their products. They're desperate. They don't know what to do. So they're throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. That Velma show is already getting a season 2, which doesn't surprise me. But what does surprise me is apparently Mindy Kaling was getting promoted to other series. So the creator of one of the worst shows that people have ever seen in the modern era is getting promoted and is being allowed to make more stuff. Welcome to modern Hollywood. And then you look at the Oscars. Who gives a fudge about the Oscars? The Oscars is a backpat, award show. It's the industry patting itself on the back. It doesn't care about what the audience cares about. It cares about its own sort of sense of sophistication. Hollywood is dead. And I've given up on it. I don't watch any new TVs, any new movies, or TV, singular. I don't watch any new TV, new movies, new cartoons, hardly. I've checked out a few out of curiosity, but some of them are just... You can't get away from it. You can't get away from the wokeness or censorship. You just can't. Even the ones that are decent are just, no, I'm not going to watch this. They can't leave old properties well enough alone. They're rebooting everything. I just saw, it looks like they're doing a Black Magnum PI reboot. Why? Old Magnum PI was too white. And see, that's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Everything that came before us is evil. Which is not true. It's an insult to the people who created these wonderful and beloved properties. But you can't get away from it, and it drives me nuts. And I know there are people who are working against this stuff, but they've got a long ways to go before they hit any sort of mainstream acceptance. And some part of me hopes that they don't, that they can find enough success to keep going, but they don't have to worry about going mainstream. Because if you go mainstream, you're going to have to compromise your principles. Plain and simple. I think that satanic performance at the Grammys was a sign of exactly where we as a culture are heading. The good news is, as I'm recording this, there's revival breaking out in Kentucky. That's a positive. In a chapel at one of the universities in Kentucky. So that's beautiful. So God is still doing some things, but ultimately, as far as the culture is concerned, wokeness is the theme of the day. It's this country and this world's salvation. It's not. It's a false savior. It's an antichrist. It's not just one person as an antichrist. It's an antichrist philosophy. It might give rise to an antichrist for sure. If you're not a Christian, then you can see the moral degradation of where this wokeness is taking us. It's taking us to areas where we may never really truly return from. Because people are embracing concepts of identity from things that aren't identifying qualifiers. Your race isn't your identity. It's an arbitrary trait. I've said this multiple times. That's why I'm not a race realist. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care where you come from. At the end of the day, you are a human being with your own thoughts, feelings, and philosophies. You don't need to conform to any group. You do as you feel you can do. As a person. But with race realism, everybody is collectivized. White's bad, everybody else good. That's the current philosophy. And that's an evil philosophy, by the way. One that I don't wholly endorse, and nobody should. And some people say, oh no, that's an exaggeration of what's happening. No, it's not an exaggeration. An exaggeration is to say that white supremacy is still alive and well when it's not. But you want to create it? Keep doing what you're doing, morons. I know that wasn't nice, but I am angry because these people don't see what they're doing. They have no idea. We're eliminating racism. No, you're not. You're creating it. You're creating it in massive force. And once people wake up to that fact, they're going to go, how did this happen? And the answer was simple. You said these races are better than these races. That's where that comes from. And that's what this woke movement is. We're going to elevate minority voices. We're not going to tell them that everybody is equal and we live in an equal opportunity country, which we do. We're going to tell them that they're oppressed by virtue of being a minority. And that we need corporations to artificially elevate them above the racial majority. It's just evil. It's going to lead to it's already leading to bad things happening, ladies and gentlemen. People being attacked and some rare cases killed. Because you've got young minority youth thinking that they're the hottest thing on the block and believing that all of their problems come from the white man. And so they start attacking people on the streets. It's evil. And that's what this wokeness in Hollywood is fueling and in media. It stems from the universities and it's going down into K through 12. The schools are all but destroyed. The next step is the family, which is what they're working to destroy. They're working to destroy the family. Satan is working to destroy the family. Plain and simple. Wokeness in Hollywood is out of control. I don't endorse it. I don't endorse new media. I'm looking for alternatives everywhere I can find them. And there are good ones out there, people who are professionals who have created stuff who are just walking away from entertainment because it has gotten so ideological. And not everybody in Hollywood is compromised, by the way. I should point that out. There are plenty of people who resist, but it doesn't get them anywhere. The studios just reject them. Look at what they tried to do with Tim Allen. Now they're trying to beg him to come back for Toy Story 5. I'm surprised he's doing it. All of these different situations where anybody who's conservative speaks up and they get effectively blacklisted. Or have any sort of traditional values. Maybe they're not even politically conservative. They're just ideologically conservative in their values and principles. They believe in the nuclear family. They believe in a mom and a dad and their kids being the standard and as God intended, or even as nature intended if they don't believe that. Nope, you can't say that, you're out. We are headed towards a cataclysm in our culture, both financially and ideologically. We are headed towards bad places, and it's not just in our entertainment, it's in our politics too. That's the part where it gets unnerving, is it's flowing upwards to politics and policy. If we keep going the way that we're going and it keeps getting more prominent, this country will be destroyed. Because it will fall, what will happen is it will fall into totalitarianism. It'll fall into an authoritarian state where everything has to be thoroughly policed way more than it is now. You think policing is bad now? It's about to get a whole lot worse when you start pushing ideologies. Because an ideology will say yes to some things, but it'll say no to a lot of others. It'll say these ideas are outdated, and you can't allow them to just be left alone. No, you have to enforce them by the law. You have to strip people of their right to believe these things. That's what Hollywood is pushing. It's disgusting. And I'm glad to see people resisting this stuff. I say keep resisting it. Don't watch their garbage. Keep ranting about it online. Keep resisting it. Make them lose money. The opposite of hate is indifference. Just ignore it. I've been ignoring sports for years. And it's great for me. I found alternatives to things that I like. And it's great. A lot of people struggle because they're like, well, what am I going to do? I have a rough life or rough time at work and I need something to escape. Oh, I'm not saying just give up on entertainment entirely. There's still entertainment, but you got to find alternative sources. People who aren't pushing politics in your face and wokeism in your face. You got to find things that are built purely for entertainment and telling a good story. And it does exist, but you're more likely to find it outside of the big corporate entertainment monopolies, or conglomerates rather. Some of them are bordering on monopolies. That's what you got to do. But this video is just to say I don't have any hope for the future of Hollywood. I think it's got to burn to the ground. It's burning itself to the ground. They just keep making the worst decisions I've ever seen. And more people are coming out of the woodwork. Old Hollywood people are coming out and saying, this is not sustainable. This is going to fail. The studio system is going to fail. Their business plans are going to fail. Their business strategies are failing. Financially, they're not doing very well. Yes, you get a hit every now and again with a Top Gun Maverick or with an Avatar. That's not going to be the standard. Those movies take years to make. And it won't be long until those movies start injecting more and more ideology into them. And more wokeness. Because they want that stuff to be profitable. And they trust that you will turn a blind eye to it. No, I'm not turning a blind eye to it. No, sir. Long term, I am committed to filtering all of my media, the way my parents used to when I was a kid. I'm not going to go and just watch something for the sake of watching it. I'm excited. The only new piece of media I'm excited for is the Super Mario Brothers movie. And I have a feeling that even that is going to be tainted by wokeness in some way. And if it is, I'm done entirely. That'll be it. But this is something that seems like a return to form with Illumination. It seems like it's not going to be centered on ideology. It's going to be focused on good things, especially because Nintendo's over it. But if they find a way to sneak something in, then I'm done. Plain and simple. And I am excited for that movie, by the way. I haven't been excited for a movie in years. I haven't been excited for a movie since The Force Awakens, and we all know how that turned out. Went to go see it, and oh boy, I still remember my feeling leaving the theater. I've never felt that way after a movie, just totally, utterly confused and uncertain about how I felt. The reality is I hated it, and I wasn't willing to admit that I hated it because I had had dreams about that movie. Because it was my absolute childhood favorite movie series of all time. So thanks a lot, Disney. You screwed my favorite series of all time. Really appreciate that. Turned it into an ideological backpat fest, as opposed to telling a good fantasy story. Bunch of jerks. Ruin everything that's good. And I say let them. And then when it falls to pieces, they'll start pointing fingers at each other. They always do. Oh, we thought we had the best ideas. Well, you didn't, and people told you you didn't. And you called those people ists and phobes and all sorts of names. And we walked away and said, okay, have fun with your pile of dirt. Your empire of dirt. Like that Johnny Cash song. They have nothing but an empire of dirt. That's what they'll be left with. Disney is in total disarray, and it brings me joy to see this, because these people have done nothing but lie and cheat their way through modern media. So they're getting exactly what they deserve. I feel no remorse for what's going on at Disney. I feel bad for some of the people whose dream it was to work with Disney and work at Disney, and they might be losing their jobs. I think, what was it, like 7,000 jobs that they've lost? That's crazy. But they wouldn't have to do that if they were focused on making things people wanted to see. But they actively declared to any parents that have any sort of traditional values that you're not welcome with Disney. And so those parents are saying, okay, well, we'll pack up and go home. We won't go to Disney World anymore. We won't watch your movies anymore. We won't use your cruise line. We won't use your streaming services or listen to your music. We won't do anything that has anything to do with you. No more Marvel movies for us. And so now Marvel movies are going into the red. I say good. Superhero genre is dead anyway. It's not entertaining in the slightest. Like I said, last superhero movie I saw was the first Avengers. Not Captain America, the first Avenger, but the first Avengers team-up movie. And it was admittedly good, but I had to be dragged kicking and screaming on my 21st birthday to see it. And I'm 30 now, so that should tell you how long it's been. I completely gave up on movies. And I think somewhere in between that I saw the Lego movie, but that, again, that was it. And that was a decent movie. So, wokeness, I'm completely black-pilled on Hollywood turning around within this year or next. I think they're going to need to massively restructure, and I mean massively. They're going to need people to come in and scrub all of the wokeness out. And I don't see that happening. I see them burning to the ground before that happens. So, that's my perspective on this. I don't know if I'm going to keep making videos on the topic or not, but at this point, I just gotta say I'm tired of it. I'm done. You tried to give these people an inch and they take a mile. I tried watching that Celtics game. I really did. I thought, hey, this is going to be interesting. It looks like a good game. Looks like it's going to be close and competitive. No, I got to be told how I'm superior because I'm black. And I don't even believe that. It's disgusting. You got to treat people as equals. You got to treat people as human beings. We're dehumanizing people. And we're blaming people based on their race for problems, or their gender, or their belief system. It makes me sick. This has been Super Koopa. God bless. Have a good one. Peace.